Meeting called to order. The time is 7 p.m. Public portion of the meeting begins. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the rights of the public to have advance notice of and to attend meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the business administrator or board secretary has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building, communicated to the Herald News, the Record, and filed with the clerk of the Borough of Hawthorne. Roll call, please. Did you give it to me?
Want me to grab an extra mic?
Yeah, please.
Here.
There's four comes out the door, thank you.
Sorry about that.
Mr. Carr.
Here.
Mr. Clavio.
Here.
Mr. Doyle.
Here. Thank you.
Ms. Erentrout.
Here.
Ms. Smokey Colton.
Here.
Mr. Palouse.
Here.
Mr. Shortway.
Here.
Mrs. Zatara.
Present.
Mrs. Goff.
Here. Please stand and join me for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Meeting regulations. During each regular meeting, 2 opportunities are provided for citizens to ask questions and to make comments. During the first opportunity early on the agenda, the meeting is open to the public for the purpose of addressing items listed for approval on this agenda only. The second opportunity occurs just prior to adjournment, when citizens may address any subject matter that is pertinent to and or directly related to the operation of the school district. Persons wishing to speak must, upon being recognized, rise, state their name, address, and subject matter. Comments and questions shall be addressed to the board president or presiding officer and shall be limited to 5 minutes per person. The board may or may not respond to issues raised by members of the public at the time they are raised, but will provide a response if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Please note that the board will not respond to comments regarding students or board employees in light of the privacy rights held by those individuals. Moreover, the board discourages comments about such individuals and will not be responsible for such comments. Members of the public who choose to speak during the public session should carefully consider their comments, since they could be held personally liable for any statements they make. Finally, please note that in accordance with district policy, the board will not officially comment or respond to any matter mentioned unless it can confirm the matter has first been brought to the attention of the appropriate school personnel in an attempt to resolve the issue. Public be heard, agenda items only. Good evening, Dr. Morrow.
Alma Morrell, 61 8th Ave. I have a question, personnel item on page 10, P12. Is this an additional guidance counselor at Roosevelt, or this is just its own counselor?
So this was replacing when Mr. Marchio went to the high school, and she transfers up to the high school. So we have one for Roosevelt and then one that's shared between Washington and Jefferson. So we had added that during our ESSER funding, and we were able to maintain it in our budget this year.
Okay, so I'm sorry. So this person is still going to be shared between Roosevelt and Washington?
Roosevelt is by itself because it's so large, and they share between Jefferson. There's a separate council that shares Washington and Jefferson.
Okay, now you said that this person was placed because the Tomarchio person was brought up,
Correct.
but then I think I saw later that that person is
She was
resigning.
Correct.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yes.
All right, and then my next question is page 19, fiscal item number 12. I'm not really sure, does this affect the tax levy in any way with the additional funding from the state, or does the tax, whatever was board approved, does that stay the same?
That's correct. So it does not affect the tax levy. We were not eligible for that to increase our tax levy. So we got, the exact number, I was going to talk about it during my report, but I'll tell you now. So we received 45% of our cut, which was $398,124 as a one-time grant, if you want to call it that, right? That we were able to use in this year's budget, but we're not increasing the tax levy. There's no impact to the taxpayer at all.
Okay, so I guess that was my follow-up question. If this was like money that gets added to our bottom line, or this was like a one-time Like, here's some money.
It's a one-time, here's some money.
All right, that sucks.
Yeah, it does not become part of our operating budget.
They're using the word grant.
Yes,
All right, thank you.
you're welcome.
I have a question about a position. Should I wait until the?
Is the position listed on this agenda?
No, not currently.
So then it would be at the end.
Thank you.
Any other agenda items? Approval of minutes, May 7th, youth night, both public and private.
Motion.
Second. Motioned by Mr. Clavio, seconded by Ms. Erentrout. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Carr,
Yes.
Mr. Clivio,
Yes.
Mr. Doyle,
Yes.
Ms. Erentrout,
Yes.
Ms. Mophly Colton,
Yes.
Mr. Paluce,
Yes.
Mr. Shortway,
Yes.
Mrs. Vitaro,
Yes.
Mrs. Goff.
Yes. There is no correspondence at this time. I have been corresponding with our NJSBA rep, but I'll talk about that later during NJSBA. Reports, Dr. Frito.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I have a lot to share tonight, so just bear with me if you don't mind. We're also going to be sharing a couple of videos tonight. But with that said, let me start with, turn on my microphone first. So I want to start by saying, as we close out another school year, I just want to thank our administrators, our faculty, our staff for all of their hard work this year. I also want to thank our parents for their support. Every year we talk about, every year comes with different challenges. And as a school district, we continue to find ways to address those challenges and move our district forward. We do appreciate those parents who provide constructive feedback and work collaboratively with the administration and the board to improve our school district. And we look forward to continuing this partnership with our parents as we do our best to ensure the success of all of our students. The old saying, it takes a village to raise a child, remains true. And again, we appreciate everyone's partnership as we try to move Hawthorne forward. A number of congratulations that I want to share. I want to start with congratulating all of our student athletes who competed this spring and all of our athletic teams throughout the school year. We had another very successful spring season and a successful school year. I can tell you this spring we had a lot of things to celebrate, and which was evident in our spring sports awards and all of our award ceremonies at the end of the year. I want to thank our coaches and student athletes for their hard work, their dedication to all of our sports programs. I also want to thank our seniors who were honored at our annual senior brunch, which is always a nice event at the Brownstone on June 2nd. I would also like to offer my congratulations to Sandy Soleil, our valedictorian, and Leah Schell, our salutatorian at Hawthorne High School. As the president of the Passaic County Association of School Administrators, I had the pleasure of awarding all of our valedictorians and salutatorians throughout Passaic County, which included obviously Sandy and Leah at the Passaic County breakfast at the Brownstone on June 4th. So it was an honor for me to be able to recognize all of our valedictorians and salutatorians in the county, but especially our two honorees here in Hawthorne. I want to mention and I shared this with the board, our Hawthorne High School capstone students earned second place in the statewide New Jersey School Boards Association Steam Tank Challenge. And just share with you what that is. So according to the website for New Jersey School Boards, the Steam Tank Challenge inspires students to become the next generation of entrepreneurs, inventors, scientists, artists, and engineers to help make the world a better place. Here in Hawthorne, we had 5 students, Jacob Hernandez, Medrit Valou, Ryan Corella, Josh Duran, and Nate Gehring, who competed in this year-long process along with 590 other schools, moving through the regionals and semifinal competition to bring their downspout dynamo invention to the final presentation. The students sought to test the viability of a sustainable energy source in a hydroelectric converter placed inside the rain downspout that would transfer water-powered energy to a storage battery. The students were evaluated on their integration of science, technology, engineering, art, and math. The team received special recognition for exemplary performance in the categories of creativity and the exemplary integration of the arts, improvement to the human-built environment, societal impact, and sustainability. The team was coached by our very own Mrs. Phibbs and our media specialist, Mrs. DiGeronimo. They were mentored by volunteers from New Era Engineering, Ms. Rana Leosa from the Hawthorne Environmental Commission, and steam tank subject matter experts. So just to give you an idea, the top 3 teams in the state were first place was Team Rice from Hoboken, second place Team Downspout Dynamo from Hawthorne, and third place was Team Veritech from Ridgewood High School. So congratulations to all the teams, but especially to our high school team. You know, this is not the first year that we've been recognized in this competition, and I'm just really proud of our kids and our staff who were involved, so congratulations. Other recognition I want to share is our high school arts program was recognized by Character.org, a leading advocate for cultivating the importance of character throughout American society and worldwide. And they recognized our Hawthorne High School arts program for their Bear Brew, and I'll just give you an idea of what that is. It says, we are extremely proud to recognize the schools and organizations that have developed and implemented a promising practice. Each of these programs and initiatives have demonstrated significant impact and strongly align with the principles that help schools and organizations cultivate a culture of character. Some of this year's character development practices included peer mentoring, service learning, student voice and leadership, intrinsic motivation, student behavior, and academic growth. And it just, they talk about Mrs. Trenicosta, who is the teacher of this class, said we started the Bear Brew program at the high school. The student baristas introduced themselves to the staff with a short bio written as a Google slide presentation. A Google form and barcode were shared with all staff members with our coffee and tea options. The students delivered to staff once the orders have been placed. It allows the staff to get a glimpse of who the students are in the arts program while giving the students financial literacy, communication, and other functional academic skills. We've used these funds to go shopping, take trips to various restaurants in and around the community. We're hoping to grow the business to be able to afford some additional trips and activities next year. But I want to congratulate Ms. Trenicosta and the students for their 2024 promising practice from Character.org, Hawthorne High School Arts Program. So congratulations to our arts program and our students in that program as well. I also want to read something from Mr. Barbosa, who is our GSA Club Advisor. And as you're aware, June is recognized as Pride Month. So in honor of Pride Month, I'd like to share just a statement from Mr. Barbosa, who's our GSA Club Advisor. And he writes, I hope this letter finds you in good health and high spirits. I'm writing to express my heartfelt appreciation for the support that the Board of Education has shown towards the Gay Straight Alliance Club and the LGBTQ+ students within our high school. The presence of the GSA Club has impacted the lives of many students in our school community, but there's still more work to do. The Board of Education's efforts to implement comprehensive policies that address issues such as bullying, harassment, and discrimination have created a safer and more inclusive environment for all students. By actively embracing diversity and promoting tolerance, you have set an inspiring example for our entire community. Through your dedication, you have empowered countless young individuals to embrace their true selves, pursue their dreams, and thrive academically and socially. Once again, I extend my deepest gratitude to each member of the Board of Education for your invaluable support of the GSA Club in our high school. Happy Pride Month, Mr. Barbosa. Okay, 2 other items. As Dr. Morell mentioned, we were fortunate, and it's thanks to the efforts of the board, the members of the Board of Education, to our town council, members of our Hawthorne Teachers Association who supported this return of state aid and others. But thanks to everyone's efforts, we've received $398,124, which was 45% of our original state aid cut. That was restored in the form of a grant or a one-time allocation. These additional funds are not part of our operating budget moving forward. However, they did allow us to restore some of the programs, and I'll just share some of the things that were restored. We're restoring our HOPE program, which includes the staff at that program. We're restoring a teacher and an assistant winter track coach, just based on numbers of the students on the winter track program at Hawthorne High School. We restored custodial hours for one of our custodians that was reduced. And we reallocated funds for substitute nurses and for our Director of Education and Technology Director. So there were a number of items that were restored in their budgets moving forward. Again, there's a lot to consider when you get an amount of money like this, because it is a one-time allocation. So you have to be careful of recurring costs, right? Things that may have an impact next year. And obviously we don't know what next year will bring. We hope we're not in the same situation next year, but we don't know. So I can tell you that the administrators and I met numerous times to talk about what we felt were the best items to restore to our budget based on the amount of money that we received, and this is what we felt was best for the district moving forward. So again, we're happy to receive that almost $400,000, which was a little bit more, but we'll take, at this point, I think, we'll take what we can get. Okay, finally, two other items that I'd like to share in regard to things that have happened during the year. So throughout the year, when we have our sports award ceremonies, we have three different, our fall, winter, and spring sports award ceremonies at the high school to recognize our athletes. And one of the things I just wanted to share was that not only do we recognize our athletes by announcing awards and having them meet with their individual teams, but we have videos that we share at those ceremonies that are created by our students in our broadcasting class. And I just felt that it was a good idea to share, because I know some of the board members who know children at the high school may not see these videos, as well as people in our community. So I'd like to share the video that was created by our broadcasting class at the Spring Sports Awards. And then I'll follow that. There's a second video that I'd like to share. Let's start. Tamer, if you don't mind, if you turn that video on for me. Okay, thank you, Tamer. So that's just an example of the video that's shared at the end of each season. There's a video created to kind of highlight the sports during that season, and it's created by the students in our broadcasting class. And I think they do a fantastic
It's
job.
such a difference from when we didn't have that broadcasting room. Like, that is so cool,
So cool.
really.
Incredible. They really do an incredible job. So I
What a
just
difference.
wanted to recognize them, and Mrs. Abaza, who's our teacher of that class, does a great job with our students as well. And the second video I'd like to share is a little bit of a different video, but as you know, we are working with a company called Flight 19 Media. We sent out the newsletter this year, sharing some great things happening within our high school. That one focused on the high school, and we'll be sending additional versions, or additions, I should say, in the fall and next year with some highlights from other schools. The other thing that the gentleman from Flight 19 Media worked on at the end of this year were some individual videos highlighting some of our individual seniors to talk about our programs at the high school. And I'll just share one. We have 3 videos. I'm not going to share all 3 of them right now, but I'll share one with you. Maya Mashani, who's one of our seniors who is an art student, talks about her experience at the high school. And we're going to be sharing these on social media. We're going to be sharing these. Mr. Pfister will be sharing as part of his newsletters. We just received them, so I wanted to share Maya Mashani's video with you as well tonight, so you can get a glimpse at what's going to be going out to the community in the coming weeks. All right, so Tamer, if you don't mind, please. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Maya Mashani. I am a graduating senior here at Hawthorne High School, and I will be studying art history and museum professions at Seton Hall University. When I come into Hawthorne High School every morning, I always know that I'm going to have the full support of my peers and my teachers. I feel confident walking in here knowing that I'm going to have a good day, I'm going to learn something new. I've made connections with people that I don't think I'll ever forget. Miss Russo has been the most supportive person I could ever ask for. She's been the backbone to all of my artwork. She's helped me through so many times. Every morning, I try and make it my priority to go see Miss Russo because she's always there to motivate me for my day. It's a comfort to know that there's someone I can always talk to. I've always loved art. It's like the biggest thing in my life, but I never really wanted to pursue being an artist because it's a difficult path. So when I heard about art history, it just fit with my academic rigor and my love for creativity. I think my art has always been the same subject. It's always had the same moodiness, but I'd say that it brings me comfort because sometimes for me, I'm a shy person, so art is the one way I can exert my emotions, and sometimes it just feels like a relief to get it out like that. When I was a kid, I think the first thing I can remember is I had an IKEA pencil and I took it to the wall in my living room and I drew all over the wall. And it definitely upset my mother, but I'd like to say that was my first big piece, and that was like from the moment my parents knew I was going to be an artist. I think Hawthorne High School was the best choice for me. I really did look at other schools in the area, but when it came down to it, none of them had an amazing art program like Hawthorne High School, especially like the tech schools in the area. None of them focused on the arts like I wanted, and when I came to tour the high school, they just had everything I needed. Here at Hawthorne, having small classes is one of the biggest benefits. When there's like 400 kids running around in a lecture hall, you don't get to know all the people around you. But in a classroom of 20, you get to know everybody, including all the supportive staff that Hawthorne has to offer. I'm not sure if I'll have a chance to keep in contact with them as I'd like, but I'd really like to think of how they were always here for me.
So that's just one example of some of the videos that were created, and we'll be sharing the others along with Maya's, in the next few weeks. So I just wanted to share them.
We need either our own our own channel on the like in News 12. How do we get this down to the middle school?
We're going to share it with everybody. We're going to share it with everybody.
Like, can they do a homeroom where they watch these videos? Like, I know that in my middle school, we used to do like a news, like a zero period, we would watch news at 10, whatever it's called, News 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, they need to see these.
Yeah.
That makes me wanna go like right now, just like back to high school and do that, and do art with Mrs. Russo.
Yeah, I mean,
That was incredible.
we flood social media, whatever you give to
Yeah.
us or we find,
Yeah.
we re-promote, but that's the adults seeing it. Like, the
Right.
kids need to see
Yeah.
that. The kids need to be excited about it. So even the
We'll get that
spring
out.
sports video,
Yes, agreed.
we need to start pumping that somehow to middle school in a homeroom style something. Do they all have TVs?
Cause
They
they all
have-
do.
they
We all
can
have the
project-
media
they can project on the
announcements. Yeah,
boards.
they all have,
With slides.
correct.
They can
The
project
morning
on the boards.
announcements.
Yeah, they
Right.
can project.
We
on
should
the
embed
boards.
it right in the morning
Right
announcements.
into it, put a link.
Yeah.
I remember, I went tag and that was one of the things, they did like a morning report.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
talking
we
about.
do it. Yeah, we
10
do it.
and 10 or whatever it was. I did in my middle
But
school.
with that was like through the arts program.
Right,
Yeah, we'll share.
yeah. Super cool. Love it.
Good stuff.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Sweeto. What a lovely way to end your report. I feel motivated. Nice. I can't wait to see the rest of them. And I did already forewarn the board, there will be a second golf up here coming in the fall. My son was elected as the board rep, so good luck to you all. There'll be two of us. I do miss the board rep up here. Curriculum and instruction, is there intro?
Thank you, President Goff. Pursuant to the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, The Committee on Curriculum and Instruction recommends the following resolutions. Now bear with me because it's quite a few pages. CI 1 through CI 5 on page 3. CI 6 through CI 19 on page 4. CI 20 through CI 29 on page 5. CI 30 through CI 42 on page 6. CI 43 through CI 54 on page 7. CI 55 through CI 58 on page 8, and ATH 1 on page 9. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Aaron Trout, seconded by Mr. Totaro. Any discussion?
There is a lot. The approval for out-of-district placements, I'm assuming, right? So
Yes,
I noticed that the ESY and school year for some but not all. So the
Yes.
price on the ones that say ESY and school year, that's the total for the basically 11 months, right?
yes, whatever the dates of the term, it's either, like I said, some of them are just summer, some
Right.
of them are for the whole school year, correct?
Okay. The CI 20 and 21 are students coming into our district, so that's a plus.
Yeah, 19, 20, and 21,
No.
actually. There's 3 tuition students, so
Thank
2
you.
for the Bear
Yes.
Cave and 1 for.
I missed the 19.
Yes, there's
Great,
3
awesome.
incoming tuition, yes.
I like plus. And then, I don't know, CI, let's say 4 through 18 are all companies that we're gonna use if we don't have our employees available first. I know I always say that, but,
Yes and no. Some of them, the ones that say as
I know,
needed are
grouping them.
typically ones that if we need to use them.
I see, as needed, as a needed basis at the
Yeah,
end.
so those are the ones typically, like if we need to use them, if we don't have someone here that can do it, it's like a blanket approval. Some of them for the summer, but like, some of them are not as needed, so.
Like, oh, can I pick
No,
an
go ahead.
example?
Go ahead, go.
Okay, so let's say, CI 13,
Okay.
and I understand that this is only the month of July, again, ESY, kids who are aging in or
That's for
transferring.
speech services for that particular one.
CI 13?
CI 13 for the
Shoot,
summer.
hold on, maybe I'm looking at the wrong one, the draft. Yeah, it just says educational evaluation.
It does say education.
It doesn't say
services. It doesn't say speech.
That's why I was confused with that. My point is that,
It says her name, no, this is the one I.
Oh, yeah,
It
sorry.
says her name,
But
and
it's
it
for-
says
it's-
educational services.
Yeah, it's, I think, I believe it's for speech services.
Including case management, yeah, so she's probably a speech case
Yeah.
manager.
so my question is though, that we have people approved tonight to
We do.
work the summer,
We do.
like speech therapists, child study team members, blah, blah, blah.
Correct.
So if those people aren't available, then we're going to these people?
So it's a combination of things. So some of them just work the summer program, some of them do evaluations over the summer. So that's kind of the difference, right? So in some cases, people are only working the summer program and aren't participating in summer evaluations for students that are evaluated over the
Right.
summer. So it could
Because
be.
there are 2 lists, there's ESY and
Right,
then there's
but what I'm saying is-
eval list.
Right, so it just depends.
Okay.
You know,
But we're offering it first internally.
yes,
That's
of course.
That's my
No,
only
no, no,
question,
yes,
really, I
of
don't.
course. Ideally, we want our own people doing it.
Okay.
where
Like
we
as a
can.
learning consultant in
Right.
Aquanic, I'm a 10-month contract, and then I'm offered ESY, which I take.
Right,
But if
Same.
it's like, I'm usually the only one, so
Right.
if they need to get other people, they
Correct.
add
I
them on.
understand, we
Always
have,
our people.
but I just wanna make sure we're always offering internally.
Our people are on here.
100%.
I saw them, but then I saw all these others.
100%.
It's
we
just a
offer-
backup, because we have to be able to
Exactly.
do
We
it.
want to cover ourselves and make
Okay.
sure we have somebody in case we need them.
So we're not saying we are gonna pay this rate, we're just, like you said, as needed, cause some of them don't say as needed. For
And
example,
I'm
that one I
assuming
guess
if it
says,
doesn't say as needed, then it's a
We're
go.
using them.
we're not saying like a minimum of whatever hours in our contracts with them.
No.
Does that
no,
make sense?
we're not.
Okay.
Right. No,
All right.
we're offering it to our people first, but like, I'll give you an example, right? So,
Yeah,
CIs 10 and 11,
okay,
we're, not 10. Look at 11, that's paras. We needed additional paras. We had to get 2 from ProCare because we
Right.
just didn't have enough people.
and yeah,
So that's
I
when
saw the
we
list.
hired additional people because we were short,
okay,
right? So, So yes, we offer it to our people first. Ideally, we want our
Right.
people, they know our kids, they're in our district. That's ideally what we want. When we can't do that, we get outside people, and sometimes we approve things as needed just to make sure that we have
As a backup.
coverage as a
Okay,
backup.
thank you so much.
The particular person you're speaking about, I happen to have her contract in my hand, there is a maximum number of hours and a maximum dollar amount in the contract.
Good.
It doesn't show up here,
Right,
but there is
right.
a maximum that she can work.
Okay, and is there a minimum? That's my really,
No.
No,
great, that's perfect, thank you.
you're welcome.
Any other discussion?
I was also gonna comment on the barricade. Like Erica said, it's nice to see pluses. I mean, there's so many benefits to the barricade. Not only do we keep our kids in-house, there's pluses there, but there's a cost saving to not sending our
Yeah.
kids outside. So you don't necessarily see there is those pluses, but in addition to that, there's a savings for not having to send our kids out of district, which is, why it's good to, I'm glad that we're able to salvage the, through the grant money that was given back. Because what's the name of the program, the Hope
Yes.
program, right? Because if just keeping one kid in-house financially would oftentimes outweigh the cost of the program. The question I did have on CI 19,
Yes.
I've never seen that. What is that? Is that the first time we have a student as such?
No.
It's a different program.
Yeah.
It's not the barricade. It's an
Yeah.
elementary program, but we've had other kids come into that program. This is a student from Prospect Park that we're now accepting.
Good.
It used to be, code has changed the name, it used to be a BD program, an EDBD program, but now the new name is emotional regulation impairment.
Good. And how many more kids can we house? Like,
To be honest, I don't know the exact number of students that will be in that class next year, but there are maximum numbers that you want to put there. And I can tell you that we don't just accept, if someone requests, we do an evaluation of that student, like they screen the student in essence to ensure that they're a right fit for our particular program. And in this case, Mr. Sarah and the Child Study team felt that this student was a good fit for our program, so we're accepting him.
That's great. There's so few opportunities for us to generate income that it's good to see these opportunities there.
It's a delicate balance between generating income and, how do I say
Not
this?
disrupting the program.
Disrupting the ecosystem that exists. It's one thing to have the program for students that we legally have it for, that are taxpayers and they are members of the town. It's another thing to open it up to other towns and then take on their children. I mean, this is a very difficult population of students to service. So yeah, there is a very serious vetting, and then if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's a program not every district has, which is why we were able to get the tuition for it.
Agreed.
Any other discussion? I had a few questions myself. For CI8, it says comprehensive evaluations, and I did ask Dr. Sprito, and that is specifically for neurologicals.
Correct.
I also asked about the out-of-district placements, just so that, more so, Ms. Colton, this is really 2 meetings worth of material. We normally have 2 June meetings, one now, and then one at the end of June, but we're not doing that this year. So some of this stuff just all got morphed together, but to see all the out-of-districts in one place can be overwhelming, but I did ask Dr. Sprito if we're like break even from last year, and he said yes.
These are all budgeted students. They're in our budget.
And about the same amount that we had.
Okay.
These are not new, I mean,
Yeah.
some of them may be new by
We have
school.
one
but
year and one left.
It looks
so-
overwhelming,
It
and that
does.
makes sense why now,
Yes.
because I didn't realize.
Yep. And then, is that my only other? Yep, that was it.
Thank you, Abby, for
Yep.
clarifying.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Clavio,
Yes.
Mr. Doyle,
Yes.
Ms. Erentrout,
Yes.
Ms. Smokey Coulter,
Yes.
Mr. Palouse,
Yes.
Mr. Shortway,
Yes.
Mrs. Zatara,
Yes.
Mr. Carr,
Yes.
Mrs. Goff.
Yes. Personnel, Ms. Aaron
Thank you, President Goff. Another long one. The following resolutions are pursuant to the recommendation of the superintendent of schools. P1 through P4 on page 9. P5 through P14 on page 10. P15 through P23 on page 11. P24 through P32 on page 12, which continues on to page 13 through P37, which continues on to page 14, including P38 and P39, which continues to page 15, along with P40, P41 through P46 on 16, P47 through P53 on page 17. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Aaron Trout, seconded by Mr. Palouse. Any discussion? Ms. Colton?
It's not on. I wanted to say I'm sorry to see Mrs. DeVries leaving. She has been really amazing at the middle school. And I don't know where she's going or what she'll be doing, but I wish her the best.
She was fantastic. Sad to lose her.
She, you know, even when my son transferred, she called me personally to see how he was doing at the high school, this year at the high school, to check in on. Oh, he's not even in your building anymore, but that's just how she is. She goes, you know, above and beyond. And I wish we could have one of her in every school.
She is great.
She really, really is. And then P21, it's for a BCBA mentor. Is
Yes.
that a cost to us?
Yeah, so we're gonna be mentoring, that paraprofessional who's listed in the right-hand column, she's actually one of our paras.
Okay, so she's a district employee?
Yes,
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, thank you.
you're welcome,
Yeah,
And then once she gets whatever hours she needs, she can be an RBT.
yes.
which is excellent. The administrative assistant, who is that for? Or
So
where?
We, yeah,
Is
it's
it
at the
board
high
off?
school.
Oh, at the high school.
We
Oh.
lost one at the high school, so we did some shifting around, so that new person will be starting in the guidance office.
Okay, I thought it was the Board of Ed, okay.
Nope,
There's so much.
that's fine, I know.
I tried to be prepared, but I'm still stuck. Someone else wants to, if anybody else,
I
go
got a
ahead.
quick question.
Sure.
I was asked by a member of the community just to inquire.
Yep.
So in regards to head coaching positions.
Yes.
And the stipends, if you know, is there a specific scale that we adhere to for how the amount of stipend they get? Is it based solely on sport, or is it an individual negotiation?
Okay, so it's.
If you know.
Yeah, I know the answer. So in our contract, there's an appendix which lists every one of our coaching positions and the stipend. There's no guide, there's no range. It's just a set amount. Usually the head coaches obviously get more than the assistants, and different sports have different amounts. They're not all the same amount. Not every head coach gets the same amount. So that's set in our contract as per that appendix. So if you're hired as the head girls soccer coach, there's a set amount that you get, period. Regardless of how many years you're there, that's the amount.
So they would be subject to negotiation every time that contract is up?
Correct. So
But they don't necessarily have a seat at the table, so that has to, the negotiating team would have to champion a raise or.
Correct. So
Thank you.
that's how that works.
Ms. Colton?
So one of the, P12, it's a guidance counselor to fill a vacancy in position that was previously funded through ESSER. So they're no longer funding it, and now we are?
So, yes, correct. So that, Tamara was hired with ESSER funds
Right.
originally.
And that's done.
With all of our ESSER staff, it was one-year positions each year that we hired them. We told them it was a one-year contract. They'd have to reapply at the end of the year.
Okay.
So she was an ESSER-funded position. It
Reapplied.
expired, obviously. She reapplied because like I said, we felt it was important to keep that position.
Yeah.
So we incorporated it into our budget, and she reapplied, and we rehired her now, because she did a nice job during that time while she was there in Roosevelt, so we rehired her to continue in that role. That's part of our operating budget now.
Wonderful, okay,
Are those positions tenured, Travis,
Yes.
each year?
Yes.
good. And then P22, it's for teacher assistants. Is this like a teacher mentor or?
Okay, good question. So this is new. In trying to be creative, right? We're always struggling to find paraprofessionals. So Mr. Serra developed a partnership with Columbia. And we were able to get these, what they call them teacher assistants. They're actually doctoral students who will be working in our district as paras in our ABA program.
Okay.
And we were able to get them for $27,000, which is significantly
Each?
cheaper. Yes.
Okay.
Which is significantly cheaper than using a ProCare or an outside company.
Yes.
So we're able to get 6 paras guaranteed for the year through Columbia. Mr. Serra gets to assign them where he wants to assign them. They're overseen by Joanne Delgado, who we're working with through Columbia as well. But it's a nice partnership. It guarantees us 6 paras who are extremely qualified. You know,
Yeah,
they're students in Columbia, but
Right.
but it's just a great opportunity for us, and it was just a creative way to try to fill those spots.
That's amazing. So they go through the same background check, fingerprinting, all that stuff that everyone else goes through. It's all the same.
Sometimes the school does it, like sometimes student teachers and things, the school
Right.
will handle it, but we do that with everybody. Teachers, paras, coaches, volunteer coaches, everybody goes through
I
that.
think it's a
same
state law.
Substitutes?
Substitutes, everybody.
I don't think so. If you use an outside company, for subbing and some depends.
Yeah.
It's different. It is.
Okay.
So I didn't
Our
know.
employees,
But
everybody.
I know we don't use an outside company for substitutes,
No,
right?
we do not. Yeah,
So
they're all-
ours is
yeah,
just
they're
the
hired
same
through
for
us.
everyone.
Correct.
Great. That's amazing. Thank you,
You're welcome.
Mr. Sarah. Okay, I think I'm done. Thank you.
I did ask Dr. Sprito about P34. It is the security guard hourly rate, and I asked if there was a continued effort to offset our costs from the borough, and he did say that they are continuing to give us the $60,000
For
one
the
time,
year,
one time annually.
Correct.
And that's Divita months.
Right, and that came
It just
about.
offsets our costs, it's not, it
Oh, so it's not in
doesn't
addition
cover
to
our
this?
costs, no.
No,
It gives a one-time $60,000.
And just to clarify, that number hasn't changed in 7 years,
Oh.
Since we started
Yeah.
our security guard, our armed security.
roughly?
Yes, I would say approximately how long, yes.
Thank you.
Abby, I have one
Go ahead.
comment. I always just like to welcome the new hires, and there's quite a few of them, so we'll have a lot of new faces in Hawthorne, and hope they have a good experience here in our community.
thank you. Go ahead.
2 comments. Speaking of high schools, girls soccer coach, glad to see that we're able to fill that position with Mr. Mimini. We had a great experience with him in the middle school year, so glad to see that he's there, he's back. I'd also just like to compliment the administration for filling all these positions. What it takes to have one name on the agenda is a lot behind the scenes.
Staffs, our administrative team's been working hard to try to get these spots filled this year, so we're trying to get ahead of the game. You've done a good job.
Yeah, not just having a body in there, but minimizing the third-party outsourcing, which is a lot more
Yeah.
expensive to the district, so, yeah, thank you.
And I'd just like to give my monthly reminder that this is just the nature of education at post-COVID, that there is a lot of movement. I like to see that we have a lot of hires on here, and the hires outweigh the resignations, but it is not a Hawthorne-specific conundrum. It is definitely happening locally, if not nationally, and I do believe that there will be a shortage in the near future, but I'm happy to see that we're still able to find people, and always a pleasure welcoming new people on board. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Doyle?
YES.
Ms. Erenchuk?
Yes.
Ms. Smokey Colton?
Yes.
Mr. Kalous?
Yes.
Mr. Shortway?
Yes.
Mrs. Totoro?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Clavio?
Yes.
Mrs. Goff?
Yes. Finance and Administration, Mr. Covino.
Thank you, Madam President. We have a donation, acceptance of donations of an estimated $13,720 from the Roosevelt School PTO for the paving of the inner courtyard at Roosevelt Elementary School. and purchase and installation of a new playground valued at approximately $60,000. Thank you to the PTO. I did have the opportunity of being at the ribbon cutting ceremony, and just want to convey how much energy there was there from the kids waiting to jump the line and start playing in the playground. So thank you to everybody that made that possible. Action items: pursuant to the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Committee on Finance and Administration recommends the following resolutions on page 18, F1 through F10, on page 19, F11 through A2, and on page 20, A3. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Clivio, seconded by Mr. Doyle. Any discussion?
Mr. Shortly.
Mr. Shorey, I'm so sorry.
Doesn't matter.
Ms. Golden.
For
For F4, what is the Clear Flex
So
program?
that's a program we use to check residency. It's
Ah.
actually proved very beneficial.
I thought it was like plexiglass or
No, I will
something.
tell you, it's proved extremely beneficial to us.
Wonderful.
And it has assisted us with a couple of residency cases.
That's worth
people are
it.
not living in orphans.
Worth the 800 a month.
Yes, it is. By
It's
far.
800 a month, 12 months a year.
Yep.
12 months, yeah,
It's a,
great.
ask Ms.
Definitely not what I thought it was.
No,
That's so
It's
funny.
a residency program.
It was scrutinized when we originally got it, but it's yielded results.
It's yielded results.
Even one,
Yeah.
honestly. And then F8, approval of agreement with Language Learning Network to provide one on-site instructional teacher. So that's for professional development?
No, so that is our current Italian teacher. We have one we're only able
Oh.
to secure an Italian teacher at the high school.
Yes,
And Ms. Barbetta, and she.
from Italy, right?
Correct.
Yes,
So she worked in our high school this year. She'll be returning next year.
Wonderful.
To continue in that role. I mean, it's more expensive than hiring a teacher. We haven't been able to find.
right, I know, that was really,
She's gonna
so this
continue.
is her contract, basically?
Correct.
Oh,
With the Language Learning Network.
it's,
And we had two through them, right? A Spanish and an
We
Italian?
had one Spanish at the middle school and an Italian at the high school.
Now we're
but
down to
We're down
one.
to one. We were able to fill our other Spanish positions.
oh, okay.
In the middle school and the high school.
Purposefully, it wasn't like you,
Yeah, no, we
okay,
just
okay,
found an
okay,
employee.
oh, good.
We were able to find our own employees.
Right.
We filled all our spots. This is the only spot we haven't been able to fill.
Right.
So she wanted to stay, so we.
And we like her, so,
Yes, we like
yeah.
her. She's done a nice job. The kids like her,
Great.
so. we're gonna
That's wonderful. I saw Pomptonians on here. What, did I skip it to next section? No, I did. A3, do we go out to bid for that? Again, I'm a new board member, so I don't know.
We just did this year.
This year,
Every year?
Every 5 years,
Every 5.
or sooner. You get
So-
5 years, you can renew for 4 times after the original bid. So we were up. We renewed them.
So it's been 5
bid,
years.
And then renewed them 4 times, and then we went out for bid again this year. And now we have the option to renew them 4 more years after.
Oh, so every year you have to
Yes.
renew them? But if you didn't, okay, so
If
you're
we
not
aren't
stuck
happy, we
for
can-
5 years?
No.
No.
Okay, so do we look at other companies
So
and
we just went out to bid this
taste
year.
their food?
We went out to bid this year.
Okay,
But I think they were the only.
They were the only.
they were the only
bid.
one?
We did receive.
Get out of town.
Three companies picked up the bid, but only one submitted.
Wow. Wow.
Wild last.
They don't step out of their turn.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Why? Because we're a small district?
No, it's just they have an unwritten
Territory.
rule. It's an unwritten agreement between them. We don't.
Seriously?
It's their corner.
Well, never mind then. My question was like, did we check out like other, because I don't know.
I feel like we should do
There's multiple companies in the area, Machios and
Yeah. But I do know,
nothing gets Pomeranian. I think they're great.
yeah,
We can't solicit, we can, put the bid out there,
Oh.
but we can't call them and say,
Yeah.
please bid.
No.
Yeah.
I will know my district just went through a whole thing last
Yeah,
year.
same.
They hired a company and literally within 2 months terminated the contract and went to Pomptonian.
Back. Were they at Pomptonian to start and then?
No, there was
Oh.
a third company.
Oh.
So, yeah,
That's not good.
I do,
They make it off the camera.
No, let me say it to the public, I love Pomptonian, I think their food's excellent, and I think they're great to our kids, yeah. And we get money back, correct?
well, there's only a maximum on I mean, we're not making money on the food, are we?
Yes, we make a lot of money on the food,
But
that's why I
there's
was
like a
asking if we
maximum
got
that
other
you can
bids.
charge, they can't, like.
Oh,
it's
absolutely, you
set
can't say
and-
like, charge them 18, so we
Yeah.
make more,
No,
no,
the
no.
state has to approve our
Right,
prices
but
every
we do
year.
make a good amount of money on the food, right?
We-
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's a self-sustaining
Right,
with
right.
a little extra.
that's
We're
better,
not-
nicer.
We're not,
That's why you're the business administrator, and I'm not, because you take much nicer.
we're
Okay,
not, you know, rolling in the dough because of it.
right. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, a little pun. Nicely done. Nicely done. Any other discussion for this section?
Here just to make a comment on F8 to the point of what I was saying before about hiring our own teachers. The moment you outsource, that position becomes that much more expensive, you know, so help spread the word. We need an Italian teacher. It is a cost savings to the district and to the tune of $20, $30, $40, $50,000.
Yes, agreed.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Erentraut,
Yes.
Ms. Smokey Colton,
Yes.
Mr. Palouse,
Yes.
Mr. Shortway,
Yes.
Mr. Totaro,
Yes.
Mr. Carr,
Yes.
Mr. Clivio,
Yes.
Mr. Doyle,
Yes.
Mrs. Goff.
Yes. Mr. Palouse, claims.
Thank you, Madam President. I had the pleasure of doing the double month for the first time.
Oh,
We
I
split
didn't
that.
even think about that.
It was
It's
fine.
normally broken up into two.
That's correct, but everything seems to be in order.
That's right.
In accordance with NJAC 6A:23-2:11B, C3, and C4, I recommend that the bills are paid. I make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Palouse, seconded by Mr. Carr. Any discussion? Ms. Coulson?
Is this, I'm sorry, I'm lost. Is this for C?
Just claims.
Claims.
CL1.
Oh, no, sorry.
Page 20.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Smokey Colton,
Yes.
Mr. Palouse,
Yes.
Mr. Shortway,
Yes.
Mr. Totaro,
Yes.
Mr. Carr,
Yes.
Mr. Clivio,
Yes.
Mr. Doyle,
Yes.
Ms. Erentraut,
Yes.
Mrs. Goff.
Yes. Buildings and grounds, Mr. Totaro.
Thank you, Madam President. Pursuant to the recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, Committee on Buildings and Grounds recommends the following resolutions. Starting on page 21, BG1 through BG3, and that is going to page 22. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second. Moved by Mr. Totaro, seconded by Ms. Erentraut. Any discussion?
The high school football field camp, summer football camp, is that for the high school or Cubs or neither?
Any students in Hawthorne community, even outside of Hawthorne, anybody, it's open to anyone. It's not just for high school kids, not just for Cubs. Obviously, it's open. The high school students are gonna run it with our coaches.
That's what I
to
was
help.
asking.
But it's meant for the younger students, but it's not just for students who play on the Cubs. It's for any student who's interested in learning a little bit about football. It's the first time they're running it. It's brand new this year.
Is amazing, I'm so excited.
Is
and-
there any talk of doing it for other sports?
I don't know.
See how it goes.
Mr. Granary, our new head football coach, wanted to run a camp this summer, so he is, he's starting right now.
So the high school kids are going to run the
They'll
camp?
just assist. They're gonna assist.
Oh, you
Our
know what I mean,
coaches-
yeah.
Our coaches are
Are
gonna
gonna run it.
as well as some others, but
Awesome.
yes, the kids will be assisting. Our high school players will be assisting.
Is there a cost?
There is, I don't know the top of my head what the cost is.
Only $3.
Yeah. it's
$50
something
a
like that.
kid?
Oh, the cost is to
Great.
the student. to
Yeah,
the-
Right,
to
that's
the
what-
To the
kids.
participants, I could find out for you.
Yeah,
I could find out.
okay.
I don't.
Are we paying the coaches additional money?
No.
As part of their,
They are
Wow.
taking it on,
They're volunteering to do
well, I
this?
mean, they get paid
They're-
as
I know, I'm kidding.
coach.
right.
That's very nice.
The district is not paying additionals, put it that way.
This was the new head football coach's idea?
Yes.
I love that. And
I think it's $50 per and $100 per family.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll
good.
find out. I'll find out.
If you have more than two, that's nice. I'm excited for that, and I will be definitely signing my son up.
It is, grades, it just says grades 1 through 8, July 22nd to 25th, 5:30 to 8 o'clock. It's $50 per player, $100, I'm sorry, I'm trying, per family. 50 for an individual, 100 per family. 4-day camp to develop your football technique and skills. I know the kids are only gonna get t-shirts, but that's the
That's a great idea that we should definitely roll out to any other sport that we can.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I hope we get it out there, like Abby was saying, you know, as much as we can, because I think it's such a great opportunity,
I've
something
seen
new.
other communities do, like Wayne just advertised that they're doing a similar thing with the cheer squad. They do a cheer camp, an intensive cheer camp where the varsity cheerleaders do the same thing with community members, and they charge a fee and they get a t-shirt, but again, it's that buy-in and working with the older kids.
That would be a great idea.
Not only does it keep the kids engaged, but very successful programs in other communities do it, and it brings, spotlights that program, and
Yeah.
it gets
Right.
eyes on the
Yeah.
program, so that's great. Yeah.
Buy-in, like from down low.
Excellent, thank you.
I had a question. I asked Dr. Sprito about BG2. I asked why the dates predated this meeting by so far, like the dates for the service were back in April. That's because the bid process takes longer, like they go out to bid and it's just the nature of the beast, so they go out to bid and this is when the bid was awarded. So I did ask that question. Any other discussion? Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Shortlight?
Yes.
Mr. Totaro?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Clivio?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Ms. Erentraut?
Yes.
Ms. Smokey Colton?
Yes.
Mrs. Goff?
Yes. Committee and liaison reports. We'll start with you, Mr. Carr.
Thank you, Madam President. Governor Murphy signed the Bill S-2082-A3413, the Evaluation and Review Task Force, May 17th this past year. It establishes the New Jersey Educator Evaluation Review Task Force to study and evaluate the educator evaluation system established pursuant to the Teach NJ Act implemented in New Jersey Public Schools. The task force will examine the educator evaluation process, gather data, evaluate the data, and make recommendations concerning the annual evaluation process for teachers, principals, assistant principals, and vice principals established pursuant to the Teach NJ Act. The task force will consist of 13 members who have a background in or special knowledge of the legal, policy, and administrative aspects of educator evaluation in New Jersey. The members will include one member appointed by the President of the Senate, one member appointed by the Speaker of the General Assembly, one member appointed by the Governor, 3 representatives of the NJEA, 3 representatives of the New Jersey Principals and Supervisors Association, 1 representative appointed by the NJSBA, 1 representative appointed by the New Jersey Association of School Administrators, 1 representative appointed by the Garden State Coalition of Schools, and 1 representative appointed by the American Federation of Teachers. Task force will consider the law in the current context of the state schools, identify areas for improvement, and make any recommendations regarding any appropriate changes or updates to the law or regulations implementing the law. The task force will issue a final report of its findings and recommendations to the Governor and the legislature no later than September 30th, 2024. The final report will be made available to the public on the New Jersey Department of Education website. This completes my report.
Wow, that was a brief one, Mr. Carr.
Yes.
Wow. Mr. Clavijo, Finance and Administration.
The committee did not meet, so we'll meet next month.
Okay, great. Mr. Doyle, Policy.
So policy did not meet this month, but there is a tentative meeting scheduled for the end of June, beginning of July. We're going to tackle reevaluating our facilities use policy district-wide and all related aspects to it. I also did a little preemptive work and asked Dr. Sprito to see if he could reach out to Strauss Esme and get us some sample policies so we can do some comparisons, generic ones and policies from other districts, just so we'll have something. But we will be meeting shortly, and there'll be more to follow. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Doyle.
President, real quick, just want to include that finance did not meet, but we did meet as negotiations committee.
Okay.
That's what took place at that meeting. So.
Okay, and you'll update us as whatever there is. Ms. Erentraut, Council Liaison and CNI.
Okay, not much from the council, just a reminder from the mayor that the Hawthorne Farmers Market starts Sunday, June 23rd from 10 to 1:30 at the library parking lot. And the next council meeting is Wednesday, June 19th. Curriculum and instruction, we did meet. There's quite a bit, so I'm making up for all of the short reports. But we met with Dr. Chibona and our high school principal, Kevin Pfister. We discussed several things. The standard-based report cards and update. The rubrics will be posted online and given to parents on back to school night for our elementary schools. We also discussed the summer credit recovery. There will be 5 designated teachers, 1 in each subject for math, social studies, science, English, and ESL. That will assist our students with work completion. Week 1 begins July 9th through July 11th, and it goes for 6 weeks through August 12th through August 16th. So we'll be monitoring the LMS and high school students completing their courses through EduSeer, right? From 9 to 12 each day in the LMS Media Center. We also discussed with Principal Pfister the rationale behind the study hall, the new high school schedule option for the 2024-2025 school year. And basically, students the NJ DOE requires 120 credits for our high school diploma, which equates to about 30 credits per year. And the Hawthorne policy requires 120 credits, but most students are getting 140 to 160, so we're providing the option for the study hall period. So basically, the study hall allows time for targeted intervention for testing areas, extra help and support in other classes, working on study skills, time for independent study. There are just so many benefits to it. So we discussed that. And that concludes my report for CNI.
Thank you, Ms. Arendro. For NJSBA, the first thing is, I'm just going to review with the public the CSA evaluation timeline. Dr. Sprito completed his evaluation on his end. It's cumbersome. There were hundreds of links to artifacts that he supplied. Dr. Sprito,
And they worked this year.
And they worked. I did have to ask for access, but once he granted access, they all worked. So just for the public's knowledge, Dr. Sprito is evaluated similarly to the way the teachers are evaluated, and we are the evaluators. So he sets goals, and there are indicators, and then provides evidence for how he feels he's achieved the goals. He completes his end, then it's submitted to us, and then we go in and we complete our end, which is basically confirming or reaffirming or giving our own 2 cents on how we feel that he did for each of the goals, each of the standards, which there are 6. That Dr. Sprito completed it. The board did an amazing job of completing it in double time. Very rapid timeline we had to make sure that it was completed by this evening so that I could compile all the data, bring it here, and we could discuss it in executive session because this will be our final meeting for the month of June, and it is due to be signed by Dr. Sprito and the board by July 1. So we will meet this evening in executive session to review the collective data, come up with a formalized, unified evaluation summary, and then I will meet with Dr. Sprito after that's done. Okay? Additionally, it's that time again, friends, where it's Board of Ed election time. The election petitions are due to the county by July 29th. There are 3 current members on the board who are up for election, myself being one of them, Ms. Arendro being another, and Mr. Shortway. I will print packets for anybody who cannot print them on their own and drop them at your house, help you seek petitions, sign whatever it is that is needed, but it must be signed and notarized by the 29th and submitted to the county. And it is in the most annoying building to get to, so give yourself ample time. The election itself is November 5th. And yes, it's a presidential election year. Yippee. I've been communicating very closely with our new board rep, Kelly Mitchell. She seems lovely. I'm excited to get her here to give us some PD, some board development. I would love for her to attend one of our summer meetings, possibly the August meeting. We're gonna see how it all works out. Okay, maybe July, maybe September, we'll set some board goals, we'll figure it out. But there was an interim person, and now we have a new woman who is very responsive. She was very good about getting back to me in a timely fashion, like every time I asked her a question about the CSA evaluation.
Having met her, she's pretty personable, very nice.
She seems it from the email. I'm happy to hear that's how she is in person, but very like on top of it.
Yeah.
And sent me hyperlinks and snapshots of exactly how to get to where I needed to today. I mean, like very thorough. Reminds me of our original one, Robin.
That's what I commented to her.
Yeah.
They do a good job of filling those roles.
Good,
She's
good. I'm
very
happy to hear
similar.
that. I'm happy to hear that. A goal of mine is to make sure that we set our goals and that we develop ourselves as a board. Ms. Mulkey Colton, Passaic County School Boards Association.
Thank you, President. So we met this month and it was a hybrid. I attended virtually. They always have a hybrid option, which is nice. They approved their new updated bylaws, but more importantly, Mr. Alex Clavijo was honored with recognition and award. Did you actually physically get an award?
Yeah, it's a
I
plaque.
thought
It's
so.
actually a nice
It was
plaque.
hard to see you. You were very small on my phone when I was watching you, but I was cheering him on and texting him because he received that for 10 years of dedication to the Hawthorne Board of Education, which I am very thankful for. Well, hopefully we'll have another 10, right? You know? So that was awesome to watch. It is so nice that they do that hybrid option. So the next one isn't until, I wrote it down, I don't know where it went. September 25th will be the next one. It will also be hybrid. They did not choose a location yet, of course. But I think they mentioned that they were gonna try to have it in one of the schools, which is nice. And then the workshop annual, this might be NJ, sorry.
That's okay.
NJSBA, I always kind of mix them up, is October 21st to October 24th. But if you sign up now, you get the early bird discount. That's it, thank you.
One other thing, if I may, just to recognize Mr. Clavijo, he also was awarded with his CBM, which is, for those of you who may or may not know, a very time-consuming process, and I know there's a few of us up here who have gone through that, but I would also like to congratulate him on achieving that goal as well.
Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. And I did ask to your point as far as the plaque, as far as Bruce. So I did send an email and I have it tagged to like follow up, so, you know, I'll include that here, because it is a nice plaque.
Yeah, I mean, I got a pin. I'm not putting the
Yeah,
pin
yeah.
down, and I got a paper.
It's not a plaque, it's a certificate, but you do get the pin, but Bruce didn't get that.
That's true.
So I did send an email and I'm actually gonna follow up on it, so.
I'm sure you would appreciate that. He loves his time on the board. Listen, I love Joey. Thank you, Ms. Mulkey Colton. Mr. Palouse, have CPAC PTO.
Thank you, Madam President. Not really a report, it's more like a, just my commentary. As we wrap up another school year, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all the leadership and volunteers from each of the PTOs, Washington School, Jefferson School, Roosevelt School, Lincoln Middle School, and Hawthorne High School as well. Also like to, thank everyone who participates with the Ed Foundation and CPAC, and all the volunteers that, helped another successful CPAC color run. We really appreciate, all the generous support of both your time, your money, and your efforts to continue to help, benefit the school district and the community. And we hope that we can continue to have the support of volunteers for future years to come. Thank you.
Mr. Palouse. And thank you for being the liaison between those groups and the board. Because as someone, I used to be in an elementary school and then a middle school, and you're only limited to the information of the PTO that you attend. So thank you for getting the word out for all the other schools.
And just to comment on that, obviously it's almost impossible for me to go to every single meeting. I'll jump on, something virtual occasionally. But really, I pick up information from the Facebook, what they're posting, and there's actually a few specifically from Roosevelt and Lincoln that shoot me messages of what's going on. So, I can shout out and reach out to, other PTOs as well. CPAC does the same thing. Jen Doyle with F, I'll text back and forth. So the more you guys can reach out to me, I would really appreciate it, because I'd like to give as much information about what's going on with the PTOs. Because, again, it's nice to hear all the positive things. And on Facebook, you don't always hear the positive things. So the more we can, promote and make it a two-way street. And I apologize that I can't get to all the meetings, but I'm sure you can understand that there's 7 organizations. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Totaro, Buildings and Grounds.
Thank you, President Goff. The Building and Grounds Committee met on June 3rd, and the following are updates on the various items taking place throughout the district. One, we had the painting of the new board offices, which started on May 30th, and I think it's got done today,
The interior is completed, yes.
And we did go to start seeing that. It looks really incredible there. Excited to see that being completed. Over at LMS, the installation of the fencing around the generator is scheduled for the end of June. At the high school, the railings are scheduled towards the rear of the building for the last week of June. And let's see what else we got. The committee also discussed proceeding with making necessary repairs over at the high school by the main auditorium and gym entrance exterior steps. Also over the summer at all the school buildings, we'll be sanding and putting down the new poly for the gym floors, which have also been scheduled. At Roosevelt School, the PTO, as mentioned by Mr. Pugliejo earlier, has graciously donated to have the inner courtyard asphalted. We'd like to thank the Roosevelt PTO for the continued support with enhancing the facility property. And lastly, B&G committee reviewed the revised fee breakdown from Solutions Architect to the architectural and engineering concepts for the high school sports complex. At this time, it was the unanimous decision of the committee to not pursue this scope of work. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Totaro.
One thing about B&G, just as I think it's more of a public service announcement, we're going to be sharing this, we're going to be communicating this to the public, but we are completing our last referendum project from the 2019 referendum, and that will require that the high school be closed for pretty much for the month of July. So no one will be at the high school at all for the month of July, and again, we'll be communicating that out to the community. The high school staff will be working pretty much out of the Bear Cave for the month of July, but they are doing some asbestos work, which means no one will be permitted to be in the building. But again, just an FYI that the high school will be closed. They're going to be starting at the very end of June and hopefully finishing by the 3rd week of July, but definitely before our full sports programs start at the beginning of August. I just wanted to share that.
And just to clarify, the asbestos is tucked away, right? It's not like...
So basically what they're doing is there are tunnels under the school. Trust me, it's not a pleasant place to be working, but there are tunnels under the school where pipes that are wrapped in asbestos. So basically they're going to be going under the school into these tunnels. They're going to be removing the top layer of dirt in these tunnels. They'll be sealing everything and then obviously removing the asbestos first and then cleaning everything, the dirt, and then sealing it. But basically that was part of the referendum. It was one of the projects, and to be honest with you, we've been putting it off since 2019, and this is the final project of the referendum. This is it. You have a question?
So, is there ESY in high school?
Not in the high school. Nobody will be in the high school for the month
Right,
of July.
so where are the ESY
They're gonna
and
be at
credit
Lincoln.
recovery?
They'll be at
Lincoln?
Lincoln School,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
We're gonna be using Jefferson.
I noticed there wasn't any high school people approved, so I was like.
Well, there are, but they're not
But
using
they're
the
gonna
high
be
school.
there.
Yeah, we're not
Okay.
using the high school at all.
Right, well,
We
yeah,
don't want to be
that
in the
makes
building
sense.
for the month of July.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. At this time, public be heard. Members of the public may ask questions or make comments on educational issues or school matters.
Hello, my name is Natalie Page. I just came tonight. I wanted to introduce myself and express excited to work in the district and kind of what's been going on the last day. As of yesterday, I thought I would be working in the district. I've gone through 4 interviews for the school social work position. With Mr. Sarah, the last one being with Dr. Spirito, where we discussed salary, and that tonight I would be approved for the board meeting. So all I was told is I had to do was wait for the board meeting. So that's what I did. I was sent a welcome package. I have it here on May 30th, my last meeting. And when the board minutes came out, I looked, of course, anxiously, waiting to see my name. It wasn't there. So I called Mr. Sarah yesterday, and I was informed that I called and said I did not want the position. I'm not here to debate anything. I'm just here to tell the truth. That never happened. I never called anyone to deny the position. I actually resigned from my position as a school social worker in a different district. So I just wanted to express that. I think it's silly to have to show phone records or anything like that, because I'm not here to debate. I really just wanted to be a part of the district, and I was really looking forward to this position. I'm sorry, I've never done this before. But my last call with Hawthorne School District was May 23rd, and I have here everything I've discussed on every single phone call, because I can remember, of course, everything I've discussed with any phone call. And I think I would recall calling to deny the position, which I did not do. And all I'm being told is that there's a written note that I called. I up until yesterday, I thought I was going to be board approved tonight. And like I said, I was very excited to be in the district. I felt like my values aligned very much with Hawthorne. And I know it would make me a little dumb to tell my district that I was intending to leave, but I just don't feel comfortable with holding that kind of information when I knew it was going to negatively affect them. But that aside, I just feel what happened to me was wrong. So I just wanted to come here tonight and say that. And I made a mistake because the position was listed on the minutes, so I could have talked earlier. It wasn't online, so I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Tate.
you.
Any other public comment? Dr. Morel?
Sorry. I have a couple. I forgot the minutes. Is it 5 minutes or something?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I really like the videos. I thought that was pretty cool. We were talking in the back. I'm gonna date myself. I know you're a Connecticut girl, which is why you said the channel. So
Yeah.
in New Jersey, it was Channel 1 News.
That's why we all looked at you like.
That's what we're like, what
Sorry,
are you
it's a
talking
10 on
about?
10.
No, when you're from New Jersey,
Nobody
you know it
knows.
was Channel 1,
Wayland.
and that's where Lisa Ling got her start from. That's a famous.
Maybe we could do it ourselves.
But we did talk about, if I'm mistaken, aren't there TVs in the cafeteria? Or like TVs around the school?
There's
They
TVs
can
around the
just
school.
run on a loop, like, I don't know, through osmosis or something that's stuck in people's heads, or you're bored one day and
The
you look at the
jingle
TV.
gets you.
Yeah, so you just keep watching it on a loop, so, but we really thought that was a good idea for that. Regarding the whole program, now that it has been reinstated,
Yes.
and I don't know if you can speak to this, are you looking to find any person to oversee the whole program, or are you just readjusting people's assignments?
No, we're gonna be
based on-
looking for somebody to run, obviously Ms. Bastian was running it.
Right,
So yes,
yeah.
we're gonna be looking to hire somebody to run that program.
Okay.
That's in the works right now. We're
Okay.
looking for that.
And just something I thought about from your conversation of CI 13, amongst yourselves, just out of curiosity, and I know, it's a local district decision in terms of how to word board resolutions,
Mhm.
but I guess the question would be, in terms of perhaps transparency to the public,
Mhm.
that while I recognize that there is an agreement and there's a cost to that, in the resolution itself just gives a rate. Has there been any consideration to then write not to exceed whatever the contractual rate is? That way the public would know what the ultimate cost of that possibility would be. So again, I know that's, you know, a board decision on how you want to name them, but if that had that Ms. Smokey Colton might not have asked that question.
I do feel like we used to do that, so.
I remember you guys doing that. Maybe it was only on some though, I think, not everybody.
I'm sorry, as you guys are talking, stuff came into my head. Mr. Doyle took my thoughts and verbalized them about the 60K. I was like, my question was gonna be, I could have sworn that has not changed, and he confirmed it, so did Dr. Spirito, so thank you. As far as the openings for next year, do you still have openings, or are you caught up with everything?
We're in pretty good shape. I mean, the whole program is one, there was one other that I just was, I forget. I think there was one other we were just talking about today, but there's not many. I mean, we're in a much better spot than we've been in the last couple of years.
And you're early.
Yeah, we're in a really good spot. We really are.
Never want to be hiring people in August.
No, we're ahead of it.
You can't find some gems.
We got ahead of it this year for sure.
I had just, I guess a question or a comment, if you will, just something that I recently read from some case law regarding F4 on page 18, the Clear ProFlex program. Is Tamer here? Yes. In the case law I saw, actually was from school boards, there are some districts that are also utilizing the geolocation of their devices as a point for residency checks. And there have been cases where the district won residency based on that. So I just wanted to throw that out there, and that's free. So that could be another check.
We've done that.
Awesome.
We've had situations where we've done that.
Yeah. And I think, oh, okay, there you go. Sorry. If I just something to consider about, and recently I was at a meeting last month, and this was a topic of conversation, which is artificial intelligence, AI. And so I thought of Mr. Doyle and the upcoming policy committee to possibly consider or look at developing an AI policy. Strauss Esme at this time has not developed an actual policy, but they do have a memo under the other download section, and they're going to be coming out with guidance. The AI policy, from what I've reviewed for some districts, some of them have placed it under the plagiarism category, and then some of them have created an overall AI policy as it relates to how teachers can utilize it, because it is an educational tool. It shouldn't be viewed as something like students should not be touching. It does have its benefits, so it's just something that I wanted to throw out there. South Orange, Maplewood, Hackensack, and Homedale are 3 districts that have also already created their own AI policies. So if you want to take a look and peek, I just wanted to throw that out there. And then my last question, and I hope I'm within my time frame, when will they be official moving date to the new board office?
So the plan right now is to move in August. Everything inside is painted. We're just waiting for we have to run the drops for all our connections for our phones and computers. And then the big challenge is going to be connecting the fiber, because we have to terminate it here and connect it there. So
will that affect the whole district or just the board?
Just the board office, but there might be a couple of day or two where we're down. But yeah, the plan right now is to move in August.
I got excited when I saw the on.
Yeah, take a peek in the window.
It was no longer like whatever CP3. I don't know what it was.
Want to help with the move?
I'm sorry.
Can I help with the move?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Any other public comment? Yeah, come on.
I've never done that.
I'm just asking about, hi, Alyssa Schlossberg. I'm asking about the action item P7, just Januska Adams adjustment and assignment.
So she was a paraprofessional. And now she's going to be our Spanish teacher at the middle school.
Okay, so she's been a para for 6 years? Is that
She
what
was a
it is?
para in Washington for us, and now she'll be serving as our middle school Spanish teacher.
Fabulous. I'm
Very excited to have her.
Because I'm like, she's not in our union, so I was wondering.
She was a paraprofessional.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's cool.
Anyone else? Okay, general comments, questions from the board related to school district or new business or old business, just let us know what it is that you would like to say. Do I have a volunteer to start? I don't want to pick. Mr. Palouse.
I figured since you're not gonna pick on me for being
See, I
first,
feel like
I'll start.
I'm going the you choose route.
Just curious, Dr. Sparito,
Yes, sir.
should we be getting you a new nameplate with the doctor on it? Can we bring in your dad's and use his?
Save some money.
I've done that.
We got him that mug that said actually it's doctor. We can just stick it, the mug next to him.
So that would be new business, I guess? Or old business, I don't know.
Update me.
And just a comment about a lot of the new, tonight we talked about a lot of the new programs and ideas that are being generated to improve and promote, all the involvement with our district. I think it's, there's just so much, and as a board member, I don't even know every little thing that's going on. So for us to think that the community knows what's going on is, but the fact that we're trying to promote and come up with new, whether it's programs or ideas just to push out the information, I think that's awesome. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Ms. Aaron-Trout.
Okay, questions and comments. One, has there been any talk of the State County Tech tuition reduction for the next school year? I know last year around this time, they barely gave us anything,
I can tell you that our
but-
association, I'm sorry, let me cut you
No,
off.
no, no.
Our association continues to advocate for a reduction. We have certain members who have been meeting with the county administrator. Last year, they were kind enough to give us a small reduction. This year, they said they weren't able to do so. But we're going to continue to advocate. We're continuing to push them. It's just an association, our superintendent association. That's something we're going to continue to try to do. But it's difficult because there's no motivation on their end to do so.
Besides to hear us stop complaining.
Right.
Well, they only got like 54 million from state aid, so I can understand why they can't give us a break.
Throws a bone.
All right, that was one question.
Sorry,
And
good
then,
question.
no, because I know it was around this time last year that it came up, so it's disheartening and frustrating, and if there's anything anyone else can do, I know Dr. Morrell has been at commissioner meetings and spoke up in regards to it,
And
so.
she is wonderful and masterful
Yeah.
at the public comment on social media and enlightening people with facts, which I just think is such a key piece. She's really good at that part too.
Yes, she
Yeah, definitely. Next is a question from some community members, and I don't know when this should have came up, but we're talking about Pontonian. A few people have reached out to me about more vegan and vegetarian options on the menu, so I don't know how that would go about,
We can
or,
communicate that to Pontonian. We can talk to them.
okay, yeah, cause
On
I
the
figured I'll
menu.
ask it publicly, so then
You don't know high
they
school,
could.
Jen, or you don't?
In general.
High
Across the
school
board,
and
right?
middle school.
I was
but,
gonna say,
there are
on the
two
menu, like
families
when it
that-
gets published, there is a contact for like a food service, but like
Yeah.
they
And
can
they should
email the
reach
food,
out to
yeah.
there.
Well, we could share that too. We can provide
There's
that.
always I know elementary, there's always veggie options, always, because that's not a la carte. It's not made there,
Right.
right?
Right, you have to order.
But, I mean, at the high school, they're literally making it there, so everything could be vegetarian in a way, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
It's come up, so I figured
Yeah.
I'll ask it, so
Maybe
we'll
not
communicate
people,
it.
maybe
if
not
anyone's
vegan,
tuning in, they can hear
vegetarian,
it.
I don't
We'll
know.
communicate it to Pontonian to make sure that they're doing that.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Cause I ordered my son chicken nuggets one day and he was like, they're green, they're bad, and then I realized I ordered vegan chicken nuggets, and that's why they were green,
Broccoli.
right? Don't judge.
And then he'll never trust a nugget again.
He hasn't even. He thought they were moldy, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, sorry, buddy, sorry.
Next, congratulations to our colleague Alex on his 10 years and the certified.
Actually, 10, correct?
Yeah, that's like a year
It's
behind.
9 and 10, yeah.
Past the 11-year mark.
Congrats. You were president when I joined the board and always very helpful to me, so thank you. And last, I wanted to say, I don't think we've met since the LMS performance of Matilda, so just wanted to say great job to all of the students and staff and everyone that was involved. It was lots of fun to see. They were really great, so that concludes my comments.
Thank you. And thank you, Jen, for going again. I mean, I get to everything I can get to, but as my family event calendar fills up, and I know we like to be a presence and go to things, so I appreciate everyone getting to whatever they can, so thank you. I saw your picture, I go through you, I
And we all do that, like sports,
Yeah.
I go through you with your
Yeah,
kids.
no, I love that we can try and be everywhere because there are 9 of us, and you.
And I guess one more thing, so,
Sure.
just wanted to say great job by all the students and staff at the last Bear Cake lunch on Friday. It was lots of fun. There were so many people, the Palousas were there when I was there, and some administrators, and just, right, it was like more lively than usual, maybe because it was the last one.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
But great job, and hopefully people can get there next year for lunch. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Mr. Totaro.
Thank you. I guess just general comments, about this time of year. Obviously, a lot of activities taking place throughout the district. Congratulate all the seniors, and also just in general, the administration, staff, and all the students throughout the district for another successful school year. Being that we're not going to be meeting again in June, and also just even the elementary kids who are moving up. I know my daughter being one of them, to go to the middle school, exciting and nervy and all the stuff that goes along with kids growing up. And I know Abby, even on your end, right, with, from middle school to high school, but it's just a lot of exciting things. And then also kind of what was just shared, we all live vicariously through each other with different means, especially through social media. And it's just been and continues to be a rewarding thing for me to see through social media and going to sporting events and the arts, just all the good within the community, right? I think we're striving as a district. We obviously have our shortfalls just like everybody else. But I think if we can keep into the positive and look at all the good that's going on, I think we can build on that and continue to grow an amazing district that, I'm very proud of, so. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Totaro. Mr. Clavijo.
A couple comments and some old business. I got a question in regards to the tarp at LMS. I take it it's been successful, right?
The windscreen?
We're actually gonna take it down.
Okay.
So, that was obviously, as you know, recommended by a parent, was suggested to keep people from engaging with the kids. There's been mixed reviews, to be honest, more negative than positive. I know there were some challenges even from people complaining to the police department, they couldn't see, trying to make the turn on that street. So we're gonna take that tarp, we're actually gonna use it around the generator fence, because we're putting a fence around the generator and the dumpster, so we figure we can repurpose it there. I understand the idea why it was requested to be put there. I just don't think that it's ideal. It poses challenges. So we're going to repurpose it. We're going to remove it from that front of that fence. I mean, listen, knock on wood. The only issue we had was that one incident, and it wasn't someone trying to.
It was egregious.
Yeah, it wasn't a negative thing. It was someone looking for a student who they had met at a family event, and they, just thought it was appropriate to go see if they could find them at the middle school. So it wasn't, it wasn't a dangerous. The police were involved, and it wasn't. So, again, we have staff out there. Our security guards are out there during lunch. They stand out there by that fence, especially on Hawthorne Ave there. So anyway, we're going to repurpose the tarp.
Thank you. Yeah, the reason I brought it up is because I was walking past that street earlier, actually riding my bike, and it's personal opinion. It looks unsightly. If I was a neighbor, I just kind of blue spark.
Yeah. And again, I understand the intent behind it, but I don't think it worked the way. Which I'm glad we didn't do the whole thing. We only did that front section, so we can repurpose it though.
Good. Regards to the high school schedule with the additional, study hall, one of the benefits, right, because it provides different benefits, one of the benefits is also that it alleviates some teacher preparation time.
It does.
Right? So it's good to know that the teachers will be, will have some relief from that end. I did not make it out to that Make-A-Wish Foundation benefit dance.
Ms. Colton did, I believe.
I did.
Yeah, I heard it was, it got great reviews and it was well attended, so glad to see that. I did get an opportunity to stop in and thank Senator Corrado that she had the outreach over at the library. And, I did thank her for whatever work they did on behalf of the district, just like it was already brought up as far as the state aid. And I did ask that it stay top of mind, because the Band-Aid that we got doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna be of any benefit to us next year. Something to keep in mind as a board is that we have the opportunity to change our election back to April. The rules did change. Now, if you do go back to an April election, as long as you stay within that 2%, the public does not need to vote on it. That was the way it was sold back in November, that we put it on the November ballot. You don't have to worry about it being voted down. And then you would get more traction because it's on a November election and there's a cost savings. Well, there is the fact of the cost savings, $25,000, $30,000, whatever it was at that point. It did not necessarily materialize, and those that spoke up on behalf of it did recant. It did not necessarily materialize into getting additional votes for Board of Ed. People don't necessarily vote all the way down. They don't turn the ballot when they're voting by mail. That's one. The other one was that it was gonna get politicized, which it obviously 100% did. So now going back to if we do go back to an April election. As long as you stay within that 2%, same scenario as if you did it in November, but it gives you the opportunity to go above 2% with the public's approval. If we find ourselves in the quarry that we did, that we found ourselves not too long ago. So something to keep in mind. Understand that all you need is a resolution, and it needs to be voted in place by January 31st, right? Yeah. So, something for the board to consider.
So sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
We're able to do that January for next year. So then the next year election, it wouldn't be us. It would be
Correct.
the next year. Yeah.
And then
But
your term
it's
just
only
gets extended.
We decide on doing that though, right? Like you said, it's just a resolution. Does that, like we just
The
vote on
board
that?
would just
and-
decide, yeah.
So I know you brought it up. I like the idea, but I don't know.
We would also have to allocate the funds for it too, right?
You have to have funds for the election.
It's about $25,000.
No, I'm not,
Yeah,
just missing
yeah.
or just.
No,
make
you
sure
have,
we
yes,
take
you
it.
have to allocate those funds. You have to make sure you have funds for the election.
And the term doesn't get shortened, it gets
It does.
extended?
No,
Oh,
it's
shortened.
Oh, mine got extended because we went the other way.
Right.
I was in
Yeah.
April and then it was November, so I was a year
It would
in.
get shortened.
Yeah.
So whoever's on that cycle loses them.
Correct.
6 months.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, sir. But you're right, you went the other way.
Yeah, it was the other way.
Extended.
Mine got extended.
But the benefit of having it back in April, now that they updated it, is that if you find yourself in a situation where you can't make ends meet because the state aid gets cut, then at least you have that option at that point. So, something definitely to consider. Again, speaking about the end of the year, all the scrambling that goes on behind the scenes, I did mention to Senator Corrado that besides the stress that it causes on the community as a whole, all the work that goes on behind the scenes, via the administration and our business administrator, figuring out what to cut, right? You got your principals involved, you're trying to make sense of that, and then they give it back to you, and then you have to figure out what to put back in. It's added stress to an already stressful period of time. And she was very receptive to all the comments. What else? Last but not least, I did have the opportunity to attend my daughter's college graduation, and it's interesting when it's when it's your own kid that's gone through the school system from beginning to end. It gives you a different sense of appreciation and appreciation for your for your teachers, for the coaches, for the staff, for those board members that served. When my daughter started in school, and it just helps you see the full picture of what it is that we do day in and day out, right? So it was just very rewarding because, both my two youngest are 100% product of the Hawthorne Public Schools, and to see them thrive and the way that they, what they've done with what they've done from the district, just makes you very, very appreciative of everyone that makes up that district, including our teachers, coaches, administrators, PTOs, so on and so forth. And last but not least, next week is graduation, so fingers crossed that the weather cooperates. That's it.
You all got parking passes.
Yes.
And please raffling his
I mean, last year we couldn't even get spots with the parking pass.
That's true.
You, we were there early and I was like, Jen, you're gonna have to find.
Yeah, I'll make sure, because we gotta make sure we block the opposite sides, people are sneaking in the
They
back.
are sneaking in the backside. Thank you, Mr. Clavijo. Mr. Doyle?
Just a general comment. So Hawthorne Education Foundation, aka HEF, through their various fundraising events throughout the year has been able to raise a significant amount of money. The executive board of HEF is very interested in donating that money back to the district. So if there is a special initiative that the district is looking to achieve, or a certain piece of equipment or something, in all your spare time and all your administrative spare time that you guys have, of course I'm being sarcastic, if you may want to start thinking about something, and I'm sure the executive board will be in contact with you again to hopefully facilitate that, but they want to make something happen, so just keep that in mind.
Actually communicated with the president today.
She's a pretty nice lady.
Yes.
I know. Usually.
We were emailing a little bit today. So yes, we were-
Very, very good.
But listen, we appreciate it, obviously, what HEF does and all the PTOs. I mean, all of it benefits our kids at the end of the day, so we appreciate it.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Doyle. Mr. Shortway?
Yeah, congratulations, Dr. Spirito, staff, administration, teachers on another fine school year. Good luck to our seniors. Congratulations to Miss Murray on her appointment.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And congratulations to Alex. That's better.
Thank you. Mr. Carr?
Really?
Just say ditto.
Ditto. Congratulations to Alex, Mr. Clavijo, and his prestigious award. You've been doing this a long time. I know you do it for the money, but you're the consummate professional, and you always have the best of the district in mind whenever you make a decision. And for that, you've been almost like a mentor to some of us here, and I thank you for that. I also like to thank our seniors, graduating seniors. Good luck in your future endeavors, and I know you'll make Hawthorne proud.
Thank you, Mr. Carr. Miss Mulkey Colton?
Okay. I know, it's late. I'll be quick. I just want to say something about the, start off with the prep, the extra study hall. I don't think it's giving teachers extra prep time because they're now going to cover a study hall, right? It's the same. It's not changing really.
But they're not teaching a class, though. Well, you don't have to.
Who's going to be in the study hall though?
But there's
It's a duty.
Yeah, one less class to teach.
But
No, it's not.
isn't different, is there a different preparation? I'm not a teacher, so my dad's a
They
teacher.
said that some people teach 5 and some people teach 6, and those who teach 5 get the duty.
But there's less preparation that goes into a
So
study
you're
hall
not teaching a 6th
versus-
class. You're not teaching a 6th class
But
per
from
se.
from a preparation perspective, is it not fair to say that there's less preparation that goes into a study hall than a class?
It depends.
The study hall?
If you're teaching all the same subject matter, you prep once and teach it multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Thanks.
so enlighten me in this, because I'm not a teacher, and again, my dad's a teacher. But okay, so if the preparation would be the same while you're in the class, isn't there more effort put into teaching rather than?
Well, it depends on your study hall and what your students' needs are. You might be helping hopefully, your students who are in the study hall to study or to work on homework. That's the point of this, is to give them that time and help their academics, also give them a little mental health break, right? But the kids who are, maybe more rigorous in their academics are gonna wanna work during that time period. And so, yeah, you are then helping them. So you're still working and teaching, just maybe not necessarily what you would normally do, but.
Is there an evaluation for study hall?
No.
But there is for teaching, so I mean, it does seem that there's.
It's a duty period.
Yeah.
It's a duty. So you're not observed during duties either. So that is considered a duty, because as per the contract, you're supposed to have 6 periods of student contact, whether it's teaching 5 and having the duty period, or teaching 6, which not many people teach 6. So it's one or the other. So it's not any less in preparation. It's not making it easier. So like I have a duty period this year of watching the bathroom, right? So instead of watching the bathroom, I'd be in charge of 30 students.
I don't want to be rude here, but I think we're crossing the lines. We're talking bordering contract stuff, and We're also
But
not
that's-
engaging the public right
I'm
now in
sorry.
a different part of the
Sorry.
meeting. No disrespect, but
Yeah, no.
Sure, no.
I think we want to be cautious about what we're talking about here.
I was just saying, because we're changing it at the high school, so I hope parents are reading their emails and seeing the pros and cons. We talked about this,
I can assure you they're not.
because I fear that it's September is gonna come around and they're gonna get their student
I agree.
schedule, and we're gonna, not we as in the board, but maybe, but principal or Dr. Sprito, whoever is gonna get calls in a panic. So I reached out to some teachers and said, what do you think about this? And surprisingly, their response was positive, because they right now have let's say they teach an elective, art. They have students who are taking that art class because they have to, right? Because they have to take a certain amount of credits, whereas now they're gonna have an elective. So it takes those kids who don't wanna be there out of that class, so that the kids who do wanna be there can enjoy it and the teacher can enjoy what they're teaching. And which then turns into less behavioral issues, right? Because there's not kids who don't wanna be there goofing off. So that is where I hope it goes. I just hope parents aren't shocked, because we are here talking about it publicly.
Right.
And Mr. Pfister's been so amazing about explaining it and getting it out there, so that's great.
Well, and to just hop on for 1 second,
Yeah.
Ms. Mulkey-Bolton, to clarify, because there was some misinformation given out at this fall sports night. This will not be if you are doing the year-long study hall, you are not a candidate for option 2.
The gym opt-out.
Which is the opting out of gym if you do a varsity level sport. That's what we were running now. So in essence, you wouldn't be able to have 2 study halls. But that it was said publicly that you would, and I did ask Mr. Pfister, and the answer is no, it's one or the other. You can do a year-long study hall that's built into your schedule through this, or you can opt for option 2, which allows you to not take a gym in a semester when you're doing a varsity sport, but that's only for this semester, but you cannot do both. You
And
will not be able to have 2 study halls in your schedule.
And also, if parents are reading their emails, you can opt out to not do this, which I think is very nice of the district and Dr. Sprito to offer that. So you can fill out a Google form and say, no, I don't want my child to have an extra study hall, and that's your choice.
The students filled out the form. Like my son opted out himself. I didn't have to fill out anything.
I filled out the form.
Okay.
I don't know if it was offered to him, I didn't even ask, and I didn't tell him I filled out.
They must have done it.
It was in one of the emails, it was in the email that originally he talked about it, the pros and whatever. So, I think that's great, so it gives parents an option, so if September comes and they're like, what is this? They can go back and read their email and see that they have the option to change it.
He knows now if he's watching.
The grant money that we were given as a one-time thing to make up for the huge budget cut, was that, were there certain conditions to that grant? Like, we cut this program, so now we have to use that money to get it back?
No.
So it was the board's decision to bring back, like, the whole program and certain things, it was,
Myself and the administrator.
okay. I know sometimes there's conditions with grants, so I
Yes,
wasn't sure.
that's that fall program that we had talked about originally, that reimburses some of the money that.
Well,
remember
that
we
was
talked
also
about that?
that was also part of what the original discussion was, when they were saying they were gonna give 75% back.
Okay, maybe that's
And
right.
then when they reduced it, that changed. That was part of the original
I see.
conversation with giving money back to district.
This is not a traditional grant. per
Right.
se, too.
Right, this was
We know what it
It was
is.
a political move
Yeah.
to
Yeah, to keep
Right.
us quiet.
appease people who lost a lot of
Or
money.
back to, yeah.
If the whole program, let's say we don't have students using it, is there something we can use that space in those staff for, or are the staff then dispersed to other schools?
Yes, that's what happened last year. So if there are periods of time where the staff is not, there's no students there, the staff, the paras, and Ms. Basilone was working at the high
Right.
school and helping at the high school, and the paras were repurposed in other places.
Okay, great.
But I can tell you that over the couple of years that we've had it, we've saved students from going out of district. I can guarantee you that
Yes.
we would have more students out of district.
We all saw the price tonight to send students out of district, so I think, but I also know the rental space is hard to find for a district, so.
That's true too.
Is there anything we could use that space for, or it really is just allotted for that?
No, what do you mean use it for?
Well, if there's no students in it, what's happening there?
Well, to be honest, most of the year we had, obviously when Ms. Basilone left, we didn't have
Right.
kids there for the last part of this year because there was no staff there. We took the paras and
Mhm.
repurposed them, but, you know, right now, it looks like we may have students starting
Never
in the
mind.
fall. That we
Okay.
can tell you that. That's according to the administrators, there are students that would benefit from it right now.
Okay. I did get to go to the Hawthorne High School dance and theater performance, When You Wish. It was very, very well done. And I really love to see that we have a dance program to put on a show. And I think that was a great addition, and I'm glad it's staying, even with the budget cuts that you guys brilliantly figured out a way to keep it.
Yes.
It was really nice to see kids on the stage express themselves and have confidence and smile, and they did a great job. It was funny, and it was artistic, and it was just all well-rounded. I felt like you were back at Disney. One thing I wanted to mention, because we've been talking about it a lot, and I'm going to be quick, I promise. We keep talking about how Hawthorne's a community in a small town, and we're all family, and we all bleed blue. But it's really hard to go to these events, as you guys are saying, and it's even harder when things are scheduled for the same time and same night. So tonight, there's 3 things between the hours of 7 and 8:30, let's say, that I would have liked to attend. Obviously, I'm here, but Washington PTO had their meeting tonight, last one of the school year, obviously, and then a mandatory Cubs parent meeting tonight. So I would love, and I don't even know if it's possible, to have a Google Calendar for all the recs and Hawthorne Public Schools and the PTOs and everything. Why not send out an email to the head of all those people and let's share a Google Doc?
Listen, we do.
It would be
in the
disastrous.
district. I'm not gonna speak for them, but I'm gonna tell you this, there's no way for us to manage everything that's going on in this community. We do our own internal calendar.
I know.
And even with our internal calendar, I'm gonna be
It's
honest,
still-
it's still hard. There's just, you'd be surprised. I mean, I could tell you, every night there's something going on.
I know.
And sometimes there's multiple things going on. I mean, last night was the Environmental Commission event, I was there. Tonight's the board meeting. Thursday night's the high school scholarship night. So there's just, it's hard. It sounds easy, but I can tell you what we do. Everybody does a Google district, I'm not talking about the
Right.
board of rec. The district, we sit down, we have a Google Calendar, everybody puts their dates in, and then we meet, and we go through that calendar. Even with that, and we try to just coordinate back to school nights, open houses, PT, but it's just, sometimes there's just no way to avoid it, because there's certain things going on, and sometimes we have to overlap, and we try not to, but.
Maybe I need to go to the council meeting and ask them to do one, and then at least we could have 2 calendars. Because I feel like there are Cubs, right? There are future football team, and to compete against, it feels like we're separating ourselves and trying to come up with ways to bring ourselves together, and we're working against each other, and I don't like that. So that's my opinion.
I've had the same
Parent.
conversation, by the way, with softball and baseball.
Yeah.
And some of their issues were just weather, right?
Right.
You know,
I know.
They had to move it because of weather,
They're
and they
with
had
you.
to get it within that weekend.
Right. And then the last thing I wanted to say is that as a child who's going into 6th grade, I thought this was amazing to bring the kids together and introduce them to the middle school and get them ready, and like all the things we're talking about, how like we want to keep our kids in school in our district, right? So my son Luke has had a 6th, and this is all the 5th graders, 6th grade orientation, parent night. Then they had the 5th grade trip where they went to the middle school to see Matilda, which they loved. Then they had a 5th grade trip to LMS to get to walk around and talk to some students and get to check the place out. Also awesome. And tomorrow, I believe the vice principal is going to visit Roosevelt in particular to do a Q&A. So those are just a couple things that he's done the month of May alone to get him into the middle school and to meet the kids and to see what it's about. And it's just another example of how wonderful these different efforts are that we didn't do before that we're doing now. And I think it will, hopefully down the line, make a big difference. right? And then I just want to say congrats to all the grads and happy Father's Day, and I hope everyone has a safe, healthy, and happy summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Milky Holton. I have a bunch, but I'll be quick. I want to first congratulate our lacrosse team at the high school. They smashed records this year. They broke the school record for the number of wins. Previous record was 12. They now hold the record at 14 wins. They also were league champions for the first time in Hawthorne High School history. So again, that's a full circle moment for some of us up here who were on here when the lacrosse team was made a thing. To see them in a decade advance to a place where they are league champions and breaking records is really an amazing thing. And obviously I have skin in that game, but pretty cool. Secondly, it was mentioned scholarship night is this Thursday. Mrs. Banker Ross did ask that I extend the invite to all of you, which I do believe I did previously, but just want to remind you it is at 6:30 p.m. if I'm not mistaken.
Pretty sure.
It's a really great night where there's a lot of positive things that are said, and we honor all of our students, for all the amazing things that they do, not just their academics. I think that's really the cool part of the night. It's like all parts of the students that get honored. Thirdly, Mr. Galijo mentioned we have graduation next week. Lincoln's is Monday at 6:30. I will be speaking because my daughter will be graduating. And Tuesday is the high schools, and Mr. Galijo will be addressing the crowd at that event, if that sways you either way to come to either of those to hear us speak. I'd also like to thank Ms. Flashberg for always coming to these meetings. It's not easy to add another thing to your to-do list, but again, when we talk about liaisons, like you go back to the faculty and liaise, which is huge, because I know it's difficult to watch a board meeting or check up on the minutes. So the fact that you're here listening firsthand is very, very fortunate. I'd also like to point out that there is an 8th grade student, River Foley, who has committed to raising money for our very own Natalie in town, and it's called the Main Event. He is going to cut his very long hair, and he is raising money to do so. Anybody interested in donating to that, it's all over social media, but the Venmo is Natalie the Mighty. Also, there is a GoFundMe. You can look for the Main Event, MANE. Just look it up. It's there. But he's going to cut his hair for graduation. Speaks to the community, just always giving back. Additionally, there will be, and this is the first time that it is being advertised so far in advance. Mr. Pfister in our meeting spoke about how he was committed to getting information out to the community as early as possible. So the class of 2028, which is my daughter's class, there will be a freshman orientation on August 26th for the students from 1 to 4. This went out to the community already, which I think is amazing. So plan around it. The students go in 1 to 4, and parents then have an orientation night event at 6:30. That is all I have. There will be a private session pertaining to legal matters and Dr. Sprito's evaluation. Be it resolved, the Hawthorne Board of Education convenes an executive session to discuss exempt matters pertaining to legal and the evaluation of our chief officer here. Be it further resolved that the anticipated executive session will be for 45 minutes in duration. Public action may not be taken. Be it further resolved that the minutes of the executive session will be made available upon the determination that by the board, the disclosure of these minutes will not detrimentally affect any right or interest of the board, and the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Sotaro, seconded by Ms. Ehrentraut. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Shortley?
Yes.
Mr. Zotaro?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Clivio?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Ms. Ehrentraut?
Yes.
Ms. Mulkey Coulton?
Yes.
Mr. Palooza? Mrs. Goff?
Yes. Happy summer, everybody.